morning, and how are you? You are now watching the Cannon County Chamber Connection Show. And mine, and of course, this is always made possible by DTC Communications, with our thanks and the thanks of the people in Cannon County that are holding events as a way to get the word out about this. My co-host is Keith Reddy, and my name is Carolyn Motley. And we are both, well, Keith is with the Courier, but he is also the president of the chamber, and I am the chamber coordinator. So now you know all of us, and we're going to know all of you, and we're going to talk about, well, first of all, we're going to talk about the things that have already happened that you missed if you didn't go. Last Saturday was busy. We had the county-wide yard sale. That was around the square and throughout the county. I did come in for that. There was traffic everywhere, and there was a big crowd down there. So I'm hoping all of that went well.
Where'd you park?
You know, I found a parking spot right across the street from the courthouse.
Wow, that's cool.
I did.
Yeah. I would have had to park acres away, I'm sure.
Nope. I just drove up there and I thought they saved me a place. That's what I was thinking. Anyway, also with that, we had the Piano Man, a tribute to Elton John and Billy Joel at the Art Center. And of course, they always have something going on. And then we had another car show at Roxy's Restaurant, which is out on Highway 2146. And it was a good show. There was quite a few cars there. We do have some guests with us today. And the first gentleman that we're going to talk to, or the gentleman we're going to talk to, is Curtis George. Curtis, how are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm fine.
And what are you here for?
I am hosting a veterans event presentation on June the 21st. It is for Vietnam veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange and have at least one of the diseases that's caused from exposure to Agent Orange. As everybody knows, Agent Orange is something you bring home with you if you were in Vietnam. Everybody's exposed that were boots on the ground. This event, I got in my mind to have this here in Cannon County because the author of this book, I've worked around her. She was with me on my honor flight to Washington. We've become real close friends, and she has featured me in a chapter of this book. This is her second book that she's got out. This is The Bravest Generations, and it's from about 2 years of research of her going to everywhere across the United States, interviewing other Vietnam veterans. It tells our story. That's why I'm hosting this event. Our story needs to be got out into the public, which it's not really got out across the United States like it should. This is a legacy book. It will give the Vietnam veterans at least our honor back that we never got. I just wanted to host this event, and I've got a form if you are a Vietnam veteran and was exposed to Agent Orange and have at least one of the diseases that's listed at the top of this form. You are eligible for the Agent Orange Heart Medal Award. That's what we'll be presenting at the event on June 21st.
What are some of the diseases that would indicate?
Well, I'll let you read them, Carolyn.
Well, I'm not sure I can.
The first one is amyloidosis.
Amyloidosis, we'll start off there. Porphyria, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, chronic B-cell leukemias, prostate cancer, Parkinson's disease, ischemic heart disease, peripheral neuropathy, I think I have that, and I wasn't even over there. Respiratory cancers, diabetes, type 2, multiple myeloma, chloracne, soft tissue, sarcomas, hydropolythyroidism,
Yeah.
and Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, hypertension, and monoclonical gammophilia. Ask your doctor. Take this list and ask your doctor. There you go. I just thought that covers just about everything, doesn't it?
Just about, just about.
How many of those conditions apply to you, if you don't mind me asking?
Three.
Three. Gotcha.
And I've got one that they're examining now at the Mayo Clinic, and that is the
Yeah.
top one, amyloidosis. If this proves out to be what the doctor tells me it is inside the heart. I've had 11 heart procedures in 3.5 years.
Yeah, I knew you.
And they have narrowed it down that this is probably what's caused all the heart problems.
Goodness.
So,
You know, do you think maybe one of the reasons, I mean, people are going to get this, they were exposed to it, but you know, for years, they never owned up to that as being a
They never
factor
did.
for the disease.
they never did. I think when they first started this list, it started out as 9, and then it went to 11. Now it's up to 19. With the VA being made aware of the conditions that some of us have got over the years and in later years, I mean, we're talking like 58 years
Right.
ago. I didn't know that I had any until 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
Slow acting.
The people that were in Vietnam and they were exposed to Agent Orange that have any of these need to get, the VA has nothing to do with this event I'm doing. This is strictly for the Agent Orange Heart Medal Foundation. The founder of this foundation will be one of the guest speakers at the event. The author of the Bravest Generation will also be a guest speaker.
What is her name?
Susan P. Hunter.
Okay.
She, I don't know if you can see her picture, it's on the back, right down the bottom corner.
And this event again is when?
June the 21st, the doors will open at 9:15. The program will start at 10 o'clock.
And where is that being held?
It will be in the meeting room at the First Baptist Church right down the street.
Okay, and that's in Woodbury, Tennessee. And is anybody invited to this? Any veterans? Anyone that's invited to this?
Everybody. It's open to the public. In connection with her book, we are trying to make the public aware of the effects that being in Vietnam had on all of us.
You know, this is a good thing that she's doing, you know, as far as to raise awareness, and hopefully she can, you know, this can steamroll because, you know, there have been many wars that we have fought in that, especially like the Gulf War, for example, that Agent Orange has been a common thing that people, and you don't hear a lot of the people that fought in the Gulf War that have, you know, mentioned Agent Orange, you know, as part of, but it could be, you know, something that's underlying to their health problems and stuff. And as they get older, just like the Vietnam War ages right now, as they get older, it could be more come into play.
You know, he mentioned something earlier about it. They were not, the Vietnam vets that came back from Vietnam were not honored. And I guess he's exactly right. I was never I'm not a fan of any war, but I always felt like we lost a lot of people and a lot of things happened, and the result wasn't any different than when we went over there. But I certainly didn't feel that about our vets that came home. They had been through a lot, and until you fought in a war, you don't know what you're going to keep with you. You don't know what you're going to remember forever. Not to mention the physical problems that they're they're now finding out about Agent Orange, just the mental incapacity as they come home and the things that they lived through and went through. Unless you've been there, you'll never know. But I certainly don't dishonor our Vietnam veterans.
Would you read that, Carolyn?
I
if you
certainly
would?
will. This says Heroes Honors. Before going on honor flight, I felt as though I was just a Vietnam veteran. It was just something I did. This experience changed my life. I realized being a Vietnam veteran is not just something I did, it's who I am. And Curtis, did you write that?
I did.
And I think that's probably the same with most Vietnam
It
vets.
is. It is.
I have a brother-in-law that was in Vietnam, and to this day, he will not talk about it.
No.
He won't. I don't know that he suffered anything, any issues that have to do with Agent Orange, but just the whole thing, he doesn't discuss it. Never has.
What you just read, myself and Susan were having lunch on Valentine's Day, and we were just talking casual, and I said this and didn't realize I had said it. So that night she called me back and she said, I'm going to start a new chapter in the book. Can I use a quote that you quoted today while we were at lunch? And I said, well, yes, you can. You didn't have to ask, but yes, you can. I said, what is it? She said, you'll have to read the book. I said, well, I'm going to read the book. And that's what it was.
Did she give you a copy?
I've got three. This is, I've got the advanced reader's copy that she sent me. I introduced this book to the Vietnam Veterans of America and Mac Memble, and that's the reason she sent me the advanced reader's copy. I said, Susan, I've got to know something about the book before I can.
Well, you're right.
Before I can face those people. Of course, I'm a member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, and she sent me the advanced reader's copy so I could get basically acquainted. This is the copy that she already edited, and these will be available at the event. She will be there. They're all signed by the author. If you'd like a copy, just be at the event and she will get you a copy of her new book.
What is the time on that signing?
The time, the doors will open at 9:15. The program will start at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And I would imagine she's going to have these for sale?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, I'm sure you can get information on where, if you missed the event, we can get you some information on where to find this book. To buy it.
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. All right.
Well,
And you
Curtis.
can also get it on Kindle, some of the other sites that she's got it on.
I'd say you'll be able to find it in bookstores before too long.
You will. You will.
Because that's a subject that, actually, it's more popular now than at any other point,
It is.
because people are now getting a hint of what went on and why the veterans that came home were not revered like they should have been. I'm not sure what that was all about. All I know is, of course, I'm not an advocate of any war, but I didn't feel that way about the Vietnam vets that came home. I think they should have been honored just like with any other war.
When I come home, I had to catch a bus from Nashville, and something happened to the bus when the old Alexander Chevrolet place was below town. And he pulled over, and I said, well, I'm going to walk on up. The bus station was up on Main Street then. I said, I'm going to walk on up to the bus station. I just throw my bags off when you get up there. Well, people that ran those stores up Main Street, I knew long before I went to Vietnam.
Right.
When I come back from Vietnam and was walking up the street, people were looking out those store windows at me like I had some kind of dreaded disease and wouldn't even come out and say hello.
Was the bus stop at the old drugstore?
It was.
I figured it
It was.
was. What year did you come home?
1968, April.
Okay. That was before I was down here, but I would have waved at you, Curtis. 'Cause
Oh, you
I didn't feel that way about it, so. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? What do you do today?
I'm retired from Aerospace Testing Alliance in Tullahoma at the Air Force Base. I've been retired 16 years.
But you have another job right now, don't you?
I've got a small farm I'm trying to operate.
But you're also on our commission,
Yes, I am.
and you don't get paid for that, do you?
No.
That's community service work right there. Well, we're so glad that you came on and made us aware of this. And I might tell you again, remind you, it's the 21st of June. It's at the First Baptist Church on Main Street, and it will begin at 9:15. That you can come in for this book signing. And I think if for no other reason, we owe it to these guys. So, you know, this is your chance to go find out a little bit of something you didn't know. So we hope to see you then.
One more thing, Carolyn. If you are a Vietnam veteran and do have either one of these, it only takes one to qualify to be eligible for the award. If you want to receive the award and want to attend, just get a hold of me. My number is 615-809-4763. I'll be glad to fill this out. And all this does is get the award ordered in time for it to be here by the 21st. We need to do this at least by the 12th so I can get them into the foundation and get the awards back in time.
Okay, if anybody calls the chamber, which they might, I can give them this number?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Can you leave that list with me?
yes.
Let me, just for a second, let me take a picture of this.
Go ahead. You can keep it, Keith. I got plenty.
All right. Yeah, because we kind of need to do I know you're going to do something in the newspaper about this as far as an advertisement is concerned, but I want to put this in there this week so people can,
Okay.
if they're planning, because we want to get many in line for this as possible.
We'll also put it on the chamber Facebook
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Carol. Yes.
and see if we can't generate a few people there for that. Curtis, you're welcome to stay with us
Yeah.
for the rest of the hour, or
Okay.
you're welcome to go, whichever one
Yeah,
you decide
okay.
to do. All right, then, did you have any more questions?
No, you covered them all.
Do you have any, Deb?
She's
You
got
weren't in
answers.
Vietnam, were you?
She's got answers, though.
I wasn't, but I do appreciate Mr. Curtis's service.
Right, I do too. I think anybody that goes anywhere, even the ones today that aren't probably in a war yet, but anyone that goes somewhere else and has to serve, they're away from their home, their family, their sometimes kids, everything else. That's something.
Sacrifice, that's for sure.
It is.
Service, so, yeah.
All right, Deborah is the director of our senior center. And along with other things in Cannon County, I'm real proud of the senior center. They do a great job for our seniors. And I hadn't had Deborah on in a while, and I wanted her to come in and just talk about the things, how they serve our senior population, not with just special events, but on an everyday basis. And you do, don't you?
Yes, we do. We're open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
And you do serve a lunch.
Yes, we are a nutrition site, so we have congregate meals. We also serve Meals on Wheels out of our center as well. So we do that.
Do you do home meals for people that can't get into the senior?
Not other than Meals on Wheels, and of course that's a program where they, have to qualify for.
Right.
But we don't do just home delivered meals to anyone. No.
Okay.
Have to come in for the congregate meals.
Okay, well, what's happening?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have a lot going on. Of course, every day we do exercise classes in the morning. We'll do a daily activity. We have lunch, as you mentioned. We have different classes depending on what day of the week it is. From our art class, that's still a great class, to quilting. We have a needlework group. But as far as special events that's coming up, we are going to host, and we're excited to do so, the International Folk Fest Dancers again this year. That will be coming up next Friday. And dancers representing Puerto Rico will be at the Senior Center at 10 o'clock.
They come every year, don't they?
Well, since I have been director, this is only the second year.
Oh, I
We
thought
were
I-
able to host last year, and this is the second year.
Okay, well, I thought I'd heard of them more often than that. Maybe they were somewhere
I know
else.
COVID had a time with them, and they kind of took a break for a couple of years for COVID.
Okay.
And they used to try to come up here every year, years ago. But then more towns got involved. Tullahoma gets involved this year, has been getting involved in organizations out of Smyrna, stuff like that. So it takes up the groups. And the groups have lessened up too. There's not that many. Used to be you get all kinds of countries being represented, Brazil and Africa, and you'd watch, they'd have a march down Main Street in Murfreesboro, and yeah, I mean, it was a big time. Now it's not as many
I think
groups.
there's 3 or 4, and like you said, they are going to be performing different places across Middle Tennessee for the week.
Well, that was good that our senior center got them.
I know. I'm excited. It's really cultural, and I guess learn about their history but their costumes, their outfits, their dresses are beautiful. Not to mention their talent,
Right.
So we're excited to be able to host them again this year.
And when you say exercises, you have an exercise room.
We do. We have, of course, exercise classes with a group-led instructor in the mornings, and then we have a fitness room that is open Monday through Friday as well. Like you said, we have commercial-grade equipment in there, so there's not anywhere else really besides rehab facilities, I don't think, that has the equipment room where you can just come in and work out like we do. So, and you can't beat the price.
Let me ask you this, Deborah. You do have good equipment in there. Is there someone there to show people, if they've never used it before, how to use it?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, good.
And I can show them too, but which I do sometimes, because normally I'm the one, when somebody comes in for the first time, it's either myself or maybe one of our other staff who will do the paperwork and give them a tour. And so a lot of people do come, they're interested in the equipment. So I'll show them how to use it if they don't know how. But we've got 2 new pieces I will tell you about, probably since you've seen our room.
Okay, I'm sure.
With grant funding, which we've been fortunate. We've got a new rowing machine, a rower that sits on the floor and
Right.
row, and then a recumbent bike, which is really nice. So those are our 2 latest purchases.
And that room is used a lot.
It is. It is used a lot.
Do you make appointments to come to that if you're not?
People usually learn, of course, people know what time of day works best for them, but people
Right.
do also learn mornings are busy.
Right, afternoons are better.
And later afternoons, we have a group that comes in. But midday, we usually, 1 or 2. So there are opportunities for people to come in and people there.
And being a senior center, you have so many informational moments or hours that experts come in and tell the seniors about different things, right?
Right. We like to be able to let our seniors know what resources or services or information is out there for them. Also to be able to help them and provide assistance. So we do have once a year, we're fortunate, United Way meets there with their VitaTax service, which is a free service for our seniors. We also have had recently a power of attorney advanced directives clinic that legal aid provided free of charge. They left with their power of attorney papers.
Good.
We also have the Tennessee SHIP program, the state health insurance program that helps people with their insurance. Of course, those programs can be accessed throughout the year, but we have them come and provided on site. This month, we're having CapTel, which is a phone service for those who are hearing impaired. For those who qualify, that's also a free service.
Oh, yeah.
So just to let people know, what is available to them. Last month, we had someone from Tennessee Department of Consumer Affairs to come and talk about scam prevention, which is so important right now.
It is important.
We try to, and we're open to people coming in and providing that information.
What age do you qualify to be a member of the senior center?
60
Okay.
and older. So, I'll be a member next year. It's coming quicker and quicker, faster and faster.
That's kind of hard, isn't it, Deborah?
It actually won't even be a year, a few months.
But you're so used to providing activities and stuff like that and running the show that it's probably not going to be anything. You probably won't even think about it. You'll be like, yeah, I'm a member, but
You do too, think about it.
Yeah, it'll be
I don't think when she's
different.
well, what I mean is like during the day when she's working and stuff, she's not thinking, oh, I'm 60 years of age and I'm a member of this.
But you know what? I don't use the exercise room, and I haven't ever used it because, I'm not a member. Although I'm there, so I could. So it'll be really weird to be able to officially use the equipment and stuff, even though I do participate in different things. But we've got, this past year, I'll tell you all about this, we introduced ourselves to chair volleyball. And that is, the Senior Olympics is coming up, and we had a guest speaker come and talk to us about the Senior Olympics, and that's one of the categories. Now, when I say chair volleyball, everybody probably thinks, oh, wow, well, that's easy. Oh, so sometimes when we don't have, we want to have an even team on both sides.
Right.
So I join in, and it is not easy.
How many times have you been hit in the head by a volleyball?
Several
that's
times.
kind of dangerous. I don't know.
It's a beach ball, Keith.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But it's harder than you think.
I got to tell you this story. I had a sister, she's passed away now, that she lived in California. And she had an illness where she had to go to rehab. And she told me, I called her and she told me, she said, I says, well, how's your rehab going? And she goes, well, she says, it's silly for one thing. And I says, what, Judy? And she goes, well, they took me in there and set me in a chair. And there was this older man sitting across from me. And they gave us this beach ball and said we're just to throw it at each other. She said, she says, well, I threw it to him and knocked him out of the chair. I thought, well, now he probably needs rehab. Even worse, she goes, well, I'm not going back to that one.
I bet that's the time that they said, okay, we got to stop this particular part of the program. No more beach volleyballs. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you'd find it funnier if you knew my sister. But I can just see that happening.
That would have been a viral moment on social media. It would have been to see somebody get knocked out from a. Have you ever had anybody get knocked out of a chair?
She didn't knock him out. She just knocked him out of the chair.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, the rules of chair volleyball is that you can't leave the chair.
Right.
So I have had people who are trying to do a certain maneuver, get under the ball or reach for the ball and sort of get up out of the chair and fall out because they're really trying to get the ball.
This is a dangerous sport.
So it's not, but it's a lot more active and a lot more exercise than you would ever imagine. So we enjoy that.
Come
needless to say.
participate. If you're a senior citizen, come participate in this volleyball, but beware because you may end up having to go to rehab yourself.
Okay, you remember when you were younger and you played dodgeball?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the same thing, except you're
Just
sitting
on
in a
a chair. And you're a sitting duck. I mean,
You gotta know where the ball is at all times.
So how many people make a team? You said you had to come in
Six
and film.
on
Okay,
each
so
side.
6. So it's kind of like a volleyball.
It is.
Yeah,
We go by the
spread
same, similar rules, yes.
Well, see, now you have fun too.
Oh, we have.
Is there a
lots of
net
fun.
involved?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
official net, yes. Yeah, well, we also play beanbag baseball, it's fun too. So, we do a lot of fun things at the center, we
Well,
have
I
a good time.
remember you had
Yeah,
a gutter
we
ice
do.
cream party.
That'll be coming up. It's a mile, we call it the mile-long banana split party.
Okay. But you eat it out of a gutter, don't
Well,
you?
we don't eat it out of a gutter, we serve it out of a gutter.
Oh, well, that's,
But it's never been
now
used
this year
as a
they'll use
gutter.
a gutter to eat it out of. Here you go, yeah.
I
Serve
went
it.
up there one day. I did when they were having this, and I thought, okay, this is a gutter here. We're gonna eat out of this
It's
gutter.
a clean one.
No, they do have fun things to do, and of course, the all-time favorite bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
And
we
you
do have
have-
bingo.
Sponsors that are different for that each time.
We do. We just do bingo about once a week. We don't
Okay.
do it all the time because there's a lot of other things we enjoy. But we do appreciate our community partners. They bring great prizes. Bingo is one of our most popular and well-attended events for sure.
I'm sure it is.
And then you've got another one. What's it? Butter.
Butterbean
Yeah.
auction.
There you go.
Yes, that's a
That's
lot of
another
fun.
big thing that they do.
Yes. You get 15 butter beans. Everybody does. And our community partner, the one that does it now, is Melanie. You know, she's local here, Melanie Mayo. She works for Home First. And she does this. So she brings lots of prizes and you bid.
Yeah.
But you only have 15 butter beans to bid on. So you bid like an auction and you use your butter beans to get the prize you want. Now, if you really want something, it's smart to say 15. Yell 15. So
And
you're
then
sure
they're
to
out
get
of
it.
their beans for the rest of the thing. You know?
They are,
Yeah.
so it's not as fun if you do it that way.
But
But
I'm sure it's safer than being
That's something you want.
chair volleyball. So
And then, of course, special events that you have.
yeah,
Good Old Days, which was just ended.
Mhm.
And that's your main moneymaker, isn't it?
it's our largest fundraiser. We spend a lot of time working on it. It's two full days, just the event, but start working on it in January.
I was gonna
So
say, you
we'll
work on it for a year.
Yes.
I know. I have some of those events.
Yes, we do.
Yes, that's something that you work on year round, but it is a fundraiser
Mhm.
because our senior center needs it. They have a nice facility.
We're very fortunate.
Yes, it is. It's very nice. And then the other one that you have, and this is probably one of my favorite, I participated in this for several years, and that is the Christmas
Okay.
gala,
Mhm.
where you set a table, you get a table, and you set it according to their Christmas theme. And then you invite 8 people, well, 7, you and 7 other people, to come and sit at your table with you. So, and they are judged, and you do get awards for it.
Mhm.
So that's a big thing.
It's a very nice event. We have a lot of people look forward to that. It's also a silent auction. It will be coming up this year, December 12th. It's the second Friday night in December. Last year it was Candy Cane Christmas, and I think that was one of the most beautiful events we've had. It was beautiful. It's red and white everywhere.
and then of course, do you still have your trivia?
We have not done that in several years, really since the pandemic. We haven't. We now do a yard sale fundraiser instead because that's kind of what we had to do during the pandemic. We did like a Facebook Live auction, so we just kind of carried that over a little bit to fundraising.
When is your next yard sale?
It'll be September, the end of September. It will be the 26th and 27th. It's a 2-day event. We do it Friday and Saturday. Same time as your fall
Car show.
car show. We figure there's people in town. And so maybe they would come by. We did it last year that same time. It was very successful. So, like everything else, it's work, but it's another fundraiser, which we appreciate the support for that.
I guess what I wanted people to know that year round, and then of course you also plan trips.
We do. We have a travel program. I did want to mention the health fair before I get to travel real quick. We do that every October, and that is, we don't charge for that. It's a service for our seniors, but since DTC is so good about filming, they also sponsor that health fair every year.
Right.
So we appreciate that. So that'll be coming up in October. It's for our seniors, but the public can come as well.
Right.
Okay, so our travel program is another fundraiser for us, and we do take some amazing trips. We have a California tour coming up in September. We are promoting a cruise. It's a Canada-New England cruise for 2026. I'm still waiting on information to book a couple of other trips for next year. Kind of have to get a year, jump on those. We're doing a trip to the Biltmore in November, so it'll be decorated for Christmas. So we're excited about that. That's a bus tour. We need 30 to go. We're about halfway there. And then we're doing a little day trip in July to Bonell's in Nashville.
Oh,
The
well,
restaurant.
somebody had told me about that, and I didn't know anything about it to tell them, but they had mentioned it to me, so that was good.
So we do travel, and we enjoy that. Anybody can go on our trips. A lot of people think it's just for seniors, but no, anybody can travel with us. And our seniors can take their families, their grandkids, of course there's obviously cost to those
Right.
trips, but it's not just for our members.
Well, that's good. Get a whole herd to go on those.
Well,
That is.
I had a one time a grandmother. She took all 4 of her teenage grandchildren with her on a bus tour.
No,
They
that's
spent a week. It went really good. They loved it. Yes, yeah. Went
Now,
really
as
well.
teenagers, I could have taken mine. They would have liked that. When they get when they're littler than that, a lot of time boredom sets in about 10 minutes. And so you're chasing them around, But teenagers, I could see where that would work out.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us?
I can't think of anything. I think we've covered a lot of things. But if anybody's interested, you can come to the senior center. Now, we can give you a tour. If you're thinking about it, we can give you a newsletter because we do publish a newsletter monthly. Of course, a lot of times that information is in the paper as well, but we do have a website, Facebook page, so people can check us out that way. And then to join, there's no membership fee, so it's just some paperwork. And
And of course, that helps your bottom line too. The more members that you can see, doesn't that?
Well, the more that we serve, the more contract funding and grant funding that
Right.
we're able to apply for. So, yes, it does help us we want to serve as many as we can.
Do you have a service of any kind for people that live outside the city?
We just use the U-Carts,
Okay.
the Upper Cumberland
Yeah.
transportation. It is a $1 one way. But we do have, for those who may need assistance, I do have transportation vouchers that I can give people, and it would be a free trip.
Right. Well, that's great because there's a lot of people, I think, that might like to come that are unable to drive.
Yes.
Get there that would participate in that. Would
They
like
usually
to.
require a 48-hour notice for most trips
Right.
initially. But if somebody wants to come on a regular basis, we could work out a schedule. But they're really good to work with us.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, it's a great place. I mean, we're real fortunate. I've been to several senior centers around the state. I'll put ours up against any of them anytime because they do a good job up there. And the people that go up there on a regular basis seem to enjoy it. They come every day.
Yes. We have some that come every day.
That's right, you do.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Hey, well, you're welcome, Deborah, and you're welcome to stay. We don't have very much longer to go. One thing that I wanted to I'll tell you about, and before this show is on the air, this will probably be over, but I just want y'all to know that we do have something going on in Cannon County just about every weekend. And this weekend is no exception. It would be Gazaway Homecoming, and that always takes place in Gazaway, Tennessee. And they have a full day of events, food, giveaways. They're going to have a car show this year, a parade, music all day, ham breakfast in the morning starting at 6, fish supper starting at 4, and like I say, music all the way through. And probably the Gilly Boys will end it up, and they probably will stay. I don't know, they've gotten older. They may not stay as long as they used to. But you'll be there after dark, I'm sure. And that's always a fun thing. They're a small community, but you couldn't tell it if you go to their events because they act big, so that's good. Just take your chair and enjoy the day because they're going to give away $100, a country ham, a rocking chair. You might have a good time and go home with a prize too. And then on the 7th also, and this will be on the same day, but the Woodbury Lions Club will be celebrating their 90th anniversary. And that's just for the Woodbury Club. It's amazing to think that that club has been in existence for 90 years, but it has. And it's still very active and does a lot in our community in different things. And so we always appreciate them. Friday, June 13th, this is something new. They have joined the chamber, and well, actually, they're not new. They were here some years ago, and it's Blood Assurance, and they will be doing a blood drive, a mobile blood drive on the square on Friday the 13th from 9 until 1 o'clock. Now, the difference between the one the Lions Club does with the Red Cross, and don't get me wrong, we're not talking bad about the Red Cross by any means, but this blood drive goes to our area hospitals. And I do remember when they used to do a blood drive over at our hospital. And so even though ours isn't as active as it used to be, we still have an emergency room and there's still a need for blood. Also, DeKalb County, Murfreesboro, I think it has some hospitals that their blood goes to, but the blood they get go mainly to our area hospitals. So, whereas the Red Cross goes all over the country, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that will be on the 13th. If you would like to register early to give to this and they're in desperate need of O negative blood, if you will give me a call at the chamber, 615-563-2222, I will give you a number or a website where you can register online. Other than that, they will have their mobile unit set up in front of the courthouse on the 13th, beginning at 9, and you can just come on down and they will give you all the paperwork and everything to give blood if you would like to do that. And, that's one of those things that you can give. It saves a lot of lives. And like I say, I didn't realize until Karen came in and talked to me, and they did join the chamber, that their blood mainly goes to our area hospitals. I didn't realize that. And then somebody said, well, you have to pay for that blood anyway. Well, yes, if you if you go to the hospital and you need blood, you're going to be billed for it unless you've given enough over the years that I think then they can go back and look at a record and tell how much blood you've donated, and you may be able to get so much free at that point, depending on how much you've given. But give me a call if you're interested in that. And then, of course, the 21st will be the book signing that Curtis is going to be in charge of regarding Agent Orange. And I think even if you don't have it or you never had anybody in the service, you probably need to read this book anyway, because there was a lot more to it than what you've probably been told. Also, the next cruise in will be June 28th, and that will be on the square from 4 to 7, and all cars are welcome. There's no charge for our cruise ins. Just come and enjoy yourself. O'Reilly's does give away door prizes to the people that participate. And of course, Shelter Insurance is another sponsor for that. They give out free drinks and snacks. And then DTC, of course, is our sponsor for our sound and our DJ. You know all about that, don't you?
I think so. I think so.
And then we have breaking news before we go on this. Sophia's restaurant is now open again for business. I do believe they're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but they have opened back up with their restaurant. So, and I do want to thank the American Legion, and I've had calls at the chamber about this from people just passing through, and they don't know where else to call. But the flag display is beautiful, and I hope they leave it up until after the 4th of July. Because, well, they can leave it up year-round as far as I'm concerned, but it is very impressive, and people are noticing it. And when we get into July, the 4th will be the fireworks, and I think, as far as I've been told, it will be done at Dillon Park again. Last year, they did a great fireworks show. They do start early with some activities on Dillon Park that begin before the fireworks. And then, of course, every year, the Lions Club has their one-night walking horse show. That will be on the 5th. I believe there's going to be 43 classes. The gates open up at 4 o'clock. They do have box seats, and you can call Barbara Parker to see about, I think there's another number. Call me at the chamber and I'll tell you who's in charge of the box
I
seats.
should have brought my class sheet. They gave me one yesterday.
Well, they have just about every class you can think of.
Right.
And of course, we'll have one of the main things about the horse show is, and what people talk to you about so much, is the food. They have a great concession stand, country ham sandwiches. We have a dessert tent, and we didn't serve ice cream last year because it's such a hassle to get the ice cream and a freezer down there and get the ice cream in the freezer before it all melts. But this year I've come up with something else that may or may not, if the club approves it, that we will have some ice cream on the grounds. So that's always a big thing. The horse show is always well attended. And that's one of the things we look forward to in July. And there is a spotted saddle horse show. That will be the 11th and the 12th. And it will be at the horse show ring, the same place that the walking horse show is at. But it's different horses. And then, do you have anything that I haven't mentioned?
Necessarily have anything. I think you covered everything.
No, I probably didn't. I'll probably get home and
Yeah.
think, oh, I know I didn't cover everything. The Art Center, there's always something going on at the Art Center. And of course, now their summer conservatory is started on Monday. They will have the one going right now for 2 weeks. They'll take a week break and then they'll have another one that will be the junior ones. And that one is not filled up yet. So if you're looking for something for your kids to do, call the Art Center. And their next live play will be June 13th through the 28th. And it's called Newsies. You might want to go watch that.
Yeah.
You might learn something. And I don't believe they're going to have any more music venues anytime soon. I think they've had just about all of those. And one thing you can start looking forward to that the Art Center always has is their White Oak Craft Fair. And of course, we'll go into that later because that's in September, but that's always well attended. So that's about all that I have to talk to you about. Don't forget Father's Day, which is on June 15th. So you might start thinking now about what to get that guy that's spent a lot of hours with you.
Original
hopefully.
idea, get them a zebra.
Hey, if that zebra runs by my house, I'm keeping him. Now, I don't care. He's
Maybe
livestock.
somebody is keeping him. That's why they can't find him.
Well, TWRA says that a zebra is considered livestock. So they don't go out and try to capture them like they do wild.
A bear,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, bless his heart, he got run over. But anyway, if that zebra runs by my house, I'm putting him in the barn. And somebody told me, well, they kick. And I thought, well, I had horses for years and so do they. So it's okay. But where else can you live where you might see a zebra in your yard? Come on. Tennessee's great. And we always have something in Cannon County that you'd be interested in. And so we will leave you with that and we will see you next month.